Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise and I'm going to be using the Light Seers Tarot as usual to get a message for us for Fatter Day, for Faber Day, for Saturday, February 6th, 2021. If I can get my mouth working right though, I'm not sure about that. Bear with me. Okay, so 3 cards for the day. The center card is the theme, and then the other 2 flanking cards will give me more information about the theme. And as usual, my intention is to find a spiritual message for us as well, something that comes from spiritual law that helps us to evolve. And especially to create what it is that we're trying to create, because of course, you know, as human beings, we are creators. Now, I'm hearing, even though this is, well, I guess on some levels it can be, it can tap into what I just heard. I just heard that we are human beings as well as human doers, because we do create. We are co-creators with the universe, and the universe is, like I always say, it's bound by law to receive us in all of our myriad facets of consciousness and unconsciousness. So wherever we're unconscious of something, like in this case, it would be wherever we're unconscious of the fact that we can create our own wealth and that we have ancestors who have lived before us to help us. Whether or not they did a good job of it, you know, wherever we're unconscious of the wealth that life does offer, then we're going to be in some form of lack, some form of, when it's this way, some form of not really understanding how to create sustainability, not really understanding, you know, what financial success is all about. Because sometimes when this card comes up, it's a separation, you know, from our family. It can be, you know, it can be, you know, a lot of arguing, actually, especially about the way resources should be managed. So I'm also hearing the word workaholism. Oh boy, do I know that one well. I'm a recovered workaholic. I can attest to that. I definitely keep myself in as much balance as I can every day, and my body will tell me, and I don't know if maybe you guys have the same experience, where if I'm overdoing, or I've done too much, or I'm going too fast, or just trying to get too much done in one day, my neck will start hurting, or my upper back, you know, like that whole, you know, between the shoulder blades all the way up to my neck. And even the top of my shoulders, you know, like your, not your rhomboids, but I forget what those are called. They're in between, you know, where someone can grab you and do like the Vulcan grip and make you stop. Or, you know, I mean, we kids used to do that to each other when we were little, but I don't recommend it. It hurts. But that area in between your shoulder and your neck, I forget that muscle. You guys, somebody clue me in there. That shows you that it truly was another lifetime ago when I used to do personal training, and I knew every muscle in the body and every bone. Never memorized the nerves though, but I knew enough of them. But anyway, long story short, anywhere between your upper back and the base of your skull, or even the propensity to have headaches, that usually shows that we're overdoing. And so what I just heard is that we are human beings as much as human doers, and we need to keep that balanced. And that's why this card reminded me of workaholism. Because workaholism is not actual abundance. It's coming from just doing all the time, and trying to build some type of an empire. And some people do that. Some people work so hard, and it is well received in America especially, and maybe even in other countries too. It's well received to just constantly work, and that creates a lack of abundance, because it creates a lack of balance. And I believe that the Six of Pentacles is here to remind us that to really be in the infinite, even though I know this is a 6 card, I see an 8 right here, and I'm sure you do too. And this card reminds me of, giving and receiving are one. So if you're giving, putting out, working, yeah, you're going to have some awesome skills, and you're going to be really good at what you do. And a lot of people are going to want to collaborate with you, which are, some of the keywords I'm throwing at you here with this card. But you may not necessarily be within the law of giving and receiving, where it is in that realm of where it's fused into all one. And like I was saying before, in America especially, some people they think that when they're young, and I mean, it is true on one level that when you're young, you have more energy, but it also becomes a power management issue. It also becomes the challenge of, again, is it in balance? Because if your power and your energy, if we don't manage our power so that, it's equally balanced, then we're over-giving in one area and under-giving in another. Like our energy is going too far, too much, too out there in one area of our life, and then the other area of our life suffers. And this may be our family. For those of you who like me, grew up with a workaholic father, he created his own business, and I think it kind of just, it went off, not in the beginning. It didn't go off to be, tremendously successful, but the more he persevered and the more he worked at it, then it was. And I think it kind of got away from him, and he had a hard time balancing home and work. So he threw himself into his work, but at the expense of his relationship, with us kids. And so we had to heal that when we got older with him, when he retired. So we did heal it, and it was a beautiful experience. But as little ones, we didn't feel that we had that stability at home. So I grew up as a young daughter, the eldest. I grew up overgiving. I grew up cleaning, cooking, doing laundry at 9 years old. I did all the laundry for five people in our family at 9 years old. And I did develop skills. I am really good at laundry. It's not one of the things I really love doing, as an adult, but I am very, very grateful that I have a laundry room in my house, and I no longer, have to, like back in the old days when I lived in apartments, and you have to go to either the basement in Santa Monica or down to the laundry room, no matter, where I lived. I'm just so grateful it's in my house, and I don't even have to go down to a basement. It's right here. So having this giving and receiving energy in balance, where that the spiritual law is that giving and receiving are one. But us as humans, we push the laws, we break the laws, we violate the laws. And some of us, have had this propensity to just think, okay, when you're young and you have all the energy, you might as well go for it. And And, at all costs, no matter what it costs, no matter what the price is, and there's always the price to pay, which is, another spiritual law. So if your home work life is out of balance, you're going to pay that price later. If your work life is out of balance, it might be a health issue that comes up. There is that possibility. And I used to learn that as well. You get into the crash and burn tendencies, and you think, oh, I'll just get this job done, and then I'm done with it, and then it's done. But then you end up for a week having to be like flat on your back because you hurt your back, and it's not healthy. So then you end up losing money for that week, when if you would have just worked in balanced, or been in balance and worked in balance, you would have made the same amount of money and not have had to have hurt yourself. So this card, when it comes in, it has to do with being careful. You need to be. The message is that we need to be careful. And flanked by these two cards, because these are both pentacles here. I'm sorry, all three of them are pentacles, right? So we're in that, everything I was just talking about, we are human beings, we're not human doings. We need to be careful to not fall into that trap of, just make the money because society, really pays for that. Society will say, oh, you're such a hard worker. Oh, you're so good. Oh, all this. You know what? It can be very, very out of balance, which is what I'm getting here. So you have to be really careful. Another layer of meaning with these three cards, with this combo here, can be that be careful, be sure that there is the reciprocity coming in, that, the service that you give is being received and you are paid well. Because sometimes, these cards can come up together when it's out of balance. That's why I get, oh my goodness, you guys, one of my pet peeves is these Republicans, and even there's this one Democrat, Joe Manchin. He was on the news this morning talking about that he doesn't agree with the $15 minimum wage, for federally. And he's giving all these reasons, and he is just out of his mind. So I kept, the more I watched him, I'm tuning in, feeling like, oh, this guy's an old-timey, past life in his past lives. I could feel his past lives where he was a slave master, and he's still putting that crap out there. These cards together, in combo with this one, this is the slave master type of energy. Because truly, nobody can live on, even to live on $15 an hour is ridiculously low. It's almost impossible. In America, anyway. Unless you have support with other things like, rent and food or something like that. But to live on $15 an hour and cover everything yourself, no, you're going to come up short. And it's proven over and over again, one little catastrophe in the family, somebody gets sick, or car repairs, and you can't make it, and then you go into debt. This is a card of debt. This is a card of family debt. This is a card of not receiving, safety, not receiving material support, physical support of any kind from your family. It's even on another level, when I combine these three, I see it's the burden of, in this card it doesn't show, but let me grab, hold on. Let me grab this deck. Everyone knows this deck. I hope you would know this by heart, but in case you're new, this is the traditional Rider-Waite. And it's kind of hard to see the figure here, but there's an older, here's the grandpa. I don't see a grandma, but you see a grandpa, and you see the dogs, and you see, the kids and the grandkids. Maybe grandma died, maybe we lost grandma. And that might be or I don't know, is this a figure up here? I don't really know what this is up here. I haven't studied this card that much as far as all the imagery. But I do know that it has everything to do with old age. And so, because it's a card of ancestral, karma and our lineage. So when I combine these three, I see that this could be like our older parents that we're trying to, and needing to support. And maybe it's taking the resources of all the kids to try and give and receive, or give in order to help the elderly parent, have their needs met at the end of their life. This could also be that there's 3 kids, but only 2 of them are helping and 1 is not giving their fair share. Or 1's doing all the work and the other 2 aren't giving their fair share, because we've got a problem here with power management, resource management. So I'm just trying to feel into all the different ways that this combo could play out. This could sometimes be that an inheritance doesn't come through because maybe the executor of the will has managed to take more than is their fair share. Sometimes that's the combo, but I feel more that it has to. I just have to go back with the original. What I heard, which is we are more than human doers. We are human beings. So to balance that out, would turn it right side up, and then we can balance out the energy that we give, the physical energy that we give every day working. Because we do need to be in that energy of just being in order to balance our physical energy systems out. To balance out the energy in our bodies, we need to be in the state of being sometimes. Well, as much as possible. 8 hours a day is enough. And might even be, depending on what you're going through in your life at this time, if you're going through, like a rebirthing experience where you're having a complete, rehaul of your bodily systems inside your body, and you don't really know what's going on, and no one's ever told you that, you can reincarnate in the same body in the same lifetime. Some people used to call me crazy about that, but when you go through it a couple of times, and you get direct guidance about it, I don't care, call me crazy, but I know what I went through, and who are you to say what I went through in my body, right? So that's an important thing to hold in your heart, that there's that possibility. And when that happens, you really have to. You're on your own. You don't always have the family support, and you do have to balance out that you're giving and receiving. So on another way we can look at this is to, let's see, let me make sure I don't get my cards mixed up here. Let me grab this deck. And I want to show you, because sometimes I go to the previous card. When a card's reversed, one of the messages, or I'm sorry, one of the ways to get a different message is to look at the card before it. And here's the card before it. So sometimes when a reversal comes in, we can look to the card before it to see what hasn't fully been assimilated, in the lesson of the card. Now, all the 9s are ruled by the Hermit, and the Hermit has to do with being your own inner guide, your own soul doctor, your own soul guide. And going back to the 9 of Pentacles, this really truly brings in the element of focusing on what is sustainable, as is, with the Ten of Pentacles. But with the Ten of Pentacles, if it's upright, you already know how that works. The Nine of Pentacles is that culminating point. The Eight of Pentacles, that card comes in when we're working. We're working our craft. We're doing our work. But we are learning to balance out, not doing too much. This can lead into that workaholic realm too if we're not careful. But the Nine of Pentacles comes in when we've mastered our craft and we found our focus. Notice she's got the focus. And we have healthy boundaries in the back. Notice there's a wall in the back. And no matter which deck you work with, it should have a wall in the back so that you get the meaning. What I love about this card is the little baby snail. Or maybe it's not a baby snail, but, it's so tiny. And that reminds us to, take our time. Sometimes, slower is better. And sometimes it's okay to go fast too, but that it does take a lot of time to get to the place where we have this luxury. This is a card of absolute luxury. It's a card of sometimes being alone and solitary, but, following the Eight of Pentacles, of course it has, everything to do with losing yourself in your work. This is also a card sometimes of inheritance. And most of all, it's a card of accomplishment. Nines are all about something that's completing or just about done. I feel like it's already complete. The tens are more about, I guess, experiencing the completion and that, complete fulfillment. But it's also a card of, loving being at home. So this can be a good card for working at home. But most of all, again, that materially, that being, that we are human beings, and we should be patting ourselves on the back for our accomplishments. We should be enjoying our accomplishments. We should be grateful. That's one of the things that was missing when I was a workaholic. I never noticed how much I had. I just kept feeling like I had to work hard and keep up. It was all about keeping up. And if I had had stronger, healthier boundaries, I would have had the time to sit and enjoy everything that I had created. But, I didn't have that yet. So I wasn't able to, feel the beauty that I'd created even in my own home. I did love my plants though, plants and pets. But so anyway, this card can come in, or we can go back to this card for the lesson when this card is reversed. And the lesson here is about loving what you have, being really, really grateful for what you have, letting yourself bask in your accomplishments. And if I add the message together here, it's that you will receive more if you allow yourself to bask in your accomplishments. And to remember, to summarize here, to remember that you are as much a human being as a human creator and doer. That even just sitting in your meditation chair, or laying in bed meditating, or in the shower, in the tub, or hot tub if you have one, whatever means of, meditating and going inside and visualizing everything that you want, but imagine yourself already having it, already in it. That will bring it in. And then you don't have to work so hard. That's one way to balance out that human being and doing. So I think that's it. Let me see if I'm hearing anything else. Wait, let me see if I can find the right words. Yeah, just remember the joy of doing what you love. Stay in the joy of doing what you love, whatever that is. And I know you've had experiences in your lifetime where you can go backwards in time and remember how that feels. Yeah, Go back to remembering the joy of creating things that you loved and still love. So, okay, well, thanks, you guys. Take good care, and I'll be back soon. Love you. Bye.